He was like a brother. I don't know what else I can say. I miss him very much. He was an ally for me as a black person coming into a small town. And through that, I met his son. I moved from Bisbee to Oracle, and I lived the property next to his son. And I experienced a wonderful time in Oracle before coming back here to Bisbee. So farewell to Pat. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
George.
Once we're at Wyman's, how can we get around? And he said, he told me a few things, and then he said, oh yeah, well, we got to get you a key to the place, and we got to do this, and here's how you turn on the propane. I'm like, what? I was just asking, how can I get around? It was like, everything he had there, it was just like, it's yours. Here, take this, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. And so we went down and we walked in. It was after dark. It was kind of dingy. He turned the light on. What would have been a living room was filled with outboard motors, disassembled, parts everywhere. My sister and her friend couldn't quite deal with it, and they chose to stay somewhere else. But we got the propane on, and yeah, everything was fine. I think it was a bunch of days later, Pat showed up, and he had some other building where he had boats and motors, and he got everything out, and he just literally knocked himself over getting it started. Fell backwards off the thing. I thought he hurt himself. We were out motoring, Joan and I and Pat, in the bay at Wyman's, where this outboard motor is. And he told, and then he showed me how to do it. And he said, go over to the bank there. It was kind of near town. And he jumped out, scrambled up the bank. He said, I got to go to the dentist for a root canal. Have fun. And I was like, that was it. We just took the thing and just, I mean, he just, the generosity and just like, here, I have this, but take it. Just, I was just blown away. Because, I mean, we knew him for years to see around town, but we weren't great friends with him. He was just, the generosity was just incredible. So.
He offered us that house too. We never went. You want to mix? Go ahead.
Yeah. You can't forget somebody like that.
Swallow your food.
There's so many, Pat.
Oh, no.
And Mike Palmer stories. I mean, go on and on and on. I have favorites from here to Sayulita, Washington, D.C. He said to me one day, where's Mike? He said, I would love to meet Ralph Nader. I said, really? I'm going to Washington next week. I have to march for a hemp rally. That's what I do. I'm the Duchess of Hemp. That's what I do. So I was on my way to Washington to fly, and I talked to Ralph, and Ralph said, hey, have you got some friends that could like be my bodyguards and be with me during the whole weekend, all these 100,000 people rallies that are all over Washington, D.C. I said, I have just the two guys, Pat Palmer and Judge Lee, whoever remembers Judge Lee from the card room. So they drove across country with the preacher that moved here with Doug Stanhope, if anybody ever ran into that guy. They let him off in Kansas or something like that. But they left here with the three of them in my car. I flew, and they left driving. It took them a little longer than they thought. But anyway, they all got there. We got to Washington, and I was doing some events for the hemp thing. And Ralph just captured them. And the three of them became Washington, D.C. They were at the White House. They were at the back room at the White House. They were at the club next to the White House. And everybody thought Pat was some dignitary from life, you know. Same with the judge. You know, he was with Judge Lee. They loved him. Ralph loved him. They became very good friends. They communicated more than I communicate with Ralph, you know, afterwards. They just became such good friends. He was so chameleon. Take him to Washington. He's a dignitary. Put him on his motorcycle around the pit, and he's terrorizing Margot. Where's Margot? You know, I mean, he could wear every hat. He could do everything well. He could make everybody in the room laugh. No?
Yes.
I mean, he was just a special person. Super happy to have had him in my life. Thank you so much for coming. He would love this. He's there. He's here.
Yeah.
Hello. I love Pat Palmer, and I have since I was 6. I love Pat Palmer since I was 16 years old. And the first painting I ever painted was in a house that he rented my mom. So, and I always think of this first painting that told me, wow, you're an artist. When I first dawned on me that maybe I should do this forever. And it was in a house Pat Palmer owned. So I've always had this fond memory of Pat, because it was my first painting done in his house. You know, and that was a long time ago. And before I ever got a driver's license, I remember seeing him on the motorcycle doing little Vuelta, leading the bike rides and races around. And I said, this guy is crazy, he's a maniac, he's going 100 miles an hour with his bikes on his tail. You know, it was really like cool. You know, this guy was a daredevil, a speedster, and amazing on this motorcycle. There's someone with a camera on the back and then zooming up and down, around City Park and High School Hill, and 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle seemed like. I was a teenager, for me it was just like, spirit, right? And I had a lot of respect for that, because that really took some strength and skill, and I was really lucky that in the last few months I got to hang out with him a little more often, and I love to take him to my house, make him breakfast, love to hit my shower, post up and watch a movie. And I did that a couple times a week for a few months, and I'd see him downtown, Pat, you ready to go to my house? And he'd come, and he knew the routine, and so I was very lucky and fortunate to be able to be with him a little bit off and on at the end, because we have a lot of love and respect for him and his brother, and he's glad to be here. I'm glad to see you guys here. Thank you.